Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm doing a Dinosaur Shaddoll deck profile. So I'm really excited for this one because this deck is a super cool competitive deck that is just running a rampage over the meta. And I really think that this deck is going to be a tier 1 contender again with the new support that's come out with Shaddoll Showdown. And with this big boss monster called Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. This deck is really crazy because of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, and it makes this deck super good. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell down there so you can become part of the notification squad. Definitely check out the Patreon and the Ko-Fi down below in the description so you guys can definitely check out those rewards. And let's get straight on into this. So, first off, we're going to be playing just 2 copies of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Ultimate Conductor Tyranno is a really cool card that is actually searchable and easily special summoned out of this deck with Double Evolution Pill. And it has a really cool effect that if it's in your hand, you can special summon it by removing from play 2 dinosaur monsters in your graveyard. And then once per turn, during either player's turn, you can destroy 1 monster in your hand or field. And if you do, you change all face-up monsters your opponent controls to face-down defense position. And this card can make an attack on all monsters your opponent controls once each. And at the start of the damage step, if this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict 1,000 points of damage to your opponent. And if you do, send that monster to the graveyard, which is a really cool effect that it doesn't even use that 3500 beat stick, it just plows straight through them. Then we play 3 copies of Soul Eating Oviraptor. Soul Eating Oviraptor is kind of like the searcher of the deck. Basically what this card does is when it is normal summon or special summon, you can take a dinosaur and either add it from your deck to your hand, or send it to the graveyard. And then you can target one other level 4 or lower dinosaur type monster on the field, destroy it, and then you can special summon a dinosaur type monster from your graveyard in defense position. So it lets you tag in and out your dinosaur monsters, which is a really cool effect. Then, speaking of dinosaur monsters in the graveyard, we play 3 copies of Miscellaneousaurus. This card is a really neat card that helps us get into a lot of different plays in this deck. Basically, what this card does is it has the ability that when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it with any number of dinosaur-type monsters, and then special summon a dinosaur-type monster from your deck that has the same level as the amount of dinosaurs you banish. So if you banish 4, you get to special summon a level 4. If you banish a 1, you get to special summon a level 1, which is pretty cool. And you can also discard it from your hand during your main phase, and then after you do, it makes all of your dinosaur-type monsters unaffected by your opponent's activated card effects during the main phase, which is a really cool effect. Then for our 1-of dinosaurs, we play a single copy of Dolgoran. Dolgoran's really cool, it's searchable, and it's really easy to go into in this deck, that you just special summon it onto your opponent's side of the field and then pop it, which is a really cool effect. 1 copy of Overtex Cordless. Basically what this does is when it's sent to the graveyard, you get to add a Double Evolution Pill from your deck to your hand. 1 copy of Pankertops. Basically what this does is it's kind of like Cyber Dragon. You can special summon it to your side of the field if your opponent controls a monster and you don't, and then you contribute it and then target a card your opponent controls and destroy it, which is a pretty cool effect too. And then for the last dinosaur, we're going to be playing a single copy of Giant Rex. Or actually, we play 1 more. Giant Rex is a really cool card because basically what Giant Rex does is when it's on your side of the field, you can, or when it's in the graveyard or banished, you can special summon it back from being banished, which is really cool once per turn. We play a single copy for our last dinosaur this time. We're playing a single copy of Drax, Alio, I think it's called. It's a level 1, I just call it a level 1 tuner. But basically what this card does is it's a level 1 tuner. That's all you really use it for. You can, if Miscellaneousaurus is in the graveyard, you can banish the Miscellaneousaurus and then instantly special summon this card from the deck just off of the single Miscellaneousaurus, which is a really neat effect to be able to just get it out for basically for free just by banishing that 1 card. Then we play for the Shaddolls. I'm playing 2 copies of Shaddoll Beast. Shaddoll Beast, if it's flip face up, you get to draw 2 and then discard a card, and if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to draw a card. Now keep in mind about all your Shaddoll monsters, you can only activate either or effects during the turn. So like, I can't flip it and draw 2 and then send it to the graveyard and draw another card. I can only activate either or, either the flip or the send to graveyard effect. Shaddoll Dragon, if it's flip face up, I get to target my card my opponent controls and then return it to the hand. And if it's sent to the graveyard, I get to pop a spell or trap. I played 2 copies of Squamata. Squamata comes in quite handy sometimes. Basically what Squamata does is it if it's sent to the graveyard, it Foolish Barrels another copy of a different Shaddoll to the graveyard. And if it's flip face up, I get to target a card on the field and destroy it. A single copy of Hedgehog, which is basically my searcher of all of my Shaddolls. What this card does is if it's flip face up, I get to add a Shaddoll spell or trap from my deck to my hand. And if it's sent to the graveyard, graveyard, I get to add a Shaddoll monster from my deck to my hand, which is a really cool effect. And for the last Shaddoll monster, we're playing 2 copies of Shaddoll Windy, which is the new Shaddoll monster in the entire archetype, which is really awesome. I only play her. I don't play the Aerial one. I don't feel like you need Aerial in this deck because you're more focusing less on big Shaddoll combos and more getting Ultimate Conductor and Winda on field, which is basically the big combo of this deck that you're trying to do. But this card is really neat because when it's sent to the graveyard, you get special summon a Shaddoll monster from your deck and face down defense. And then if it is flipped, you get special summon a Shaddoll from your deck and face up defense or face down defense, which is really cool. And then we're going to play something that's going to scare all the dinosaur type monsters because it's kind of what took them out in the Jurassic period. But we're going to be playing 2 copies of Nibiru. Now, don't tell them it's a meteor. It'll scare them all away and we won't be able to play dinosaurs anymore. We'll just have a deck of 2 Nibirus. But yes, we are playing it. It kind of goes with the theme anyways, but I didn't even, I thought about that before the deck, and I was like, wow, Nibiru, that's kind of ironic to play that in this deck. So definitely give us a like for that one. I thought that was so ironic to play Nibiru in this deck. But basically, if your opponent normal summons or special summons 5 or more times, you can destroy all, you can tribute that many cards on the field as possible, tribute all the monsters on the field, and then special summon this card to your side of the field, and then your opponent gets a token with the total sum of monsters' attack and defense points that they had onto their side of the field, which is really cool, and it's really easy to plow through that token with your Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. So that's it for all of your monsters. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Monster Reborn. The Monster Reborn is basically here just to be able to extend our plays and stuff like that. 1 copy of Foolish Burial because all of our Shaddolls trigger off of being sent to the graveyard, and so does our Miscellaneousaurus. 2 copies of Double Evolution Pill. The Double Evolution Pill comes in really handy in this deck because you can banish a dinosaur type monster and a non-dinosaur type monster, which really seems like they really want you to fuse this deck with other things because of that effect. You can special summon a level 7 or a higher dinosaur type monster from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, which is always going to be our Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Now, occasionally, you will run out of your Ultimate Conductor Tyrannos, and you'll already special summon them. So we do have 3 other targets, which is our Dolgaran, our Overtex, and our copy of Pankratops, as well as the other 3 targets for the Double Evolution Pill, just depending on what situation you're in and what you might need. Then for the fusion spells, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Shaddoll Fusion. Shaddoll Fusion comes in so handy, especially in this deck, because you're always going to go second the majority of the time. You want to end with the Shaddoll Fusion because what you're going to do is special summon from your deck, or send cards from your deck to the graveyard that are Shaddoll monsters, or cards that are needed to fusion summon a Shaddoll monster, which is really cool, which can be dark, light, or earth in our particular instance that we have in the main deck, and that we're trying to special summon from the extra deck, either Construct, Winda, or Shikinaga, or a Pokelone sometimes, which comes up. We have just the 2 copies of El Shaddoll Fusion. El Shaddoll Fusion, I just feel like you just need the 2 copies in this deck. I don't feel like you need 3. 2 is plenty to me because you're just going to fusion summon you have plenty of fusion spells in this deck, so I feel like 2 is fine. We're playing 3 copies of Super Polymerization. Super Polymerization comes in really clutch. That's why I'm just playing the 2 El Shaddoll Fusions, because this card comes in so clutch, it's ridiculous. Because basically what you're going to do with this card is you're going to use it with your opponent's dark monsters, your opponent's light monsters, earth monsters, or their copies of their other Shaddoll monsters that they're playing, because a lot of people are playing Shaddolls right now. Or you can use dark monsters just to summon the Starving Venom. Like, all of your cards are just so many different Super Volley targets that your opponent plays, and it's ridiculous. And there's so many different extra deck monsters. Like, your opponent could summon Boral Sword, and I could just drop Super Poly and fusion summon the Boral Sword away for a copy of Winda if I have a Shaddoll on my side of the field. Like, any Shaddoll, it doesn't matter. Like, it'd be another Winda if I wanted to fusion summon away a Winda. Then we play 3 copies of Fossil Dig, which searches any of our level 6 or lower dinosaur type monsters, which is essentially anything that you can't special summon with Double Evolution Pill, you can search with your Fossil Dig. And then, since we are playing a primarily dark deck, we are playing the 3 copies of Allure of Darkness, which comes in super clutch for the draw power. Now, if you will notice, I am not playing Called by the Grave because I just don't feel like I need it. I am pushing so hard in this deck that I just don't feel like I really need it. but there is options to play Call by the Grave if you do need it. You could drop the Allure of Darknesses if you want to go that route, or you could side your Super Polys if you want to go that route and play Call by the Grave. But that's it for the main deck. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Winda. Winda is really cool in this deck because basically what Winda does is makes it so either player can only special summon once per turn, and if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to target a Shaddoll spell in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. We play 2 copies of Construct. Construct comes in pretty clutch too, because this card is really, really good. If it battles a special summon monster, it destroys the monster instantly, and when it's fusion summoned, you get to send a Shaddoll from your deck to your graveyard. And it also, if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to target a Shaddoll monster, or Shaddoll spell or trap, and add it back to your hand. We play a single copy of Shikanaga. Shikanaga comes in really, really clutch sometimes. Occasionally, I don't make this all that often, but it is an option. If I have multiple Shaddolls in my hand, I might banish, or I might send a Giant Rex to the graveyard with a Shaddoll Windy to put me 2 monsters on the field if I need to. And plus, if I have Miscellaneous Source that I can use to banish from my graveyard, there's a lot of plays there with this card. But basically, if it's on your field and your opponent activates a monster effect, you can discard a Shaddoll monster from your hand to negate the effect, which is really cool. 1 copy of a Pokelone. A Pokelone comes in clutch too, because sometimes you just need to summon it on the field and then stop a monster effect, which is really cool, or negate a card on the field. Starving Venom is a super poly target that we're going to have in the deck. 1 copy of Trishula. Trishula comes in really, really handy sometimes, because basically you summon the Trishula and you summon it off of your copy of the Jirak tuner monster. Like if you have a copy of Soul Eating Oviraptor and Giant Rex on the field, you can instantly fusion or instantly synchro summon into this card with just using those and the Jirak monster, the Jirak tuner. And then we play 2 copies of Logia. Logia is really good. Like usually I either end on Logia Winda or I end on Logia with Ultimate Conductor and a Winda. Like it just depends on what kind of field I'm left with and what I have in my hand when I open up. But when a monster is normal or special summoned, or when a spell or trap is activated, you can detach both the materials from this card and negate the activation if you destroy it, which comes in really handy. The only thing that you have to keep in mind about this card is you have to use 2 dinosaurs to summon this. I play a single copy of Dolka. Dolka comes in pretty clutch too, because during either player's turn, when a monster effect is activated, you can detach a material from this card and negate the activation if you destroy it. Boral Sword just to OTK. 1 copy of Unicorn to bounce stuff, and then I play 2 copies of Cross Sheep. Now, this is Master Rule 5 ready, but the Cross Sheep is that good that you want to play this card because of the effect of the Fusion Summon. That if you fusion summon a level 4 or lower, or if you fusion summon into a zone this card points to, you can special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard, which can be a copy of Oviraptor, it can be a copy of Giant Rex, it can be anything that you need from your graveyard back to your side of the field. So it's like walking Monster Reborn. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. It's a super cool, fun deck that I really think you guys should try. I think that this deck is relatively meta, to be honest. I would probably say this deck is meta. I would probably say this deck is at least tier 2. With what I've been seeing recently, it's just a super cool, fun deck that is going to surprise a lot of people in the next coming format. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell on this so you can become part of the notification squad, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.